What's up? Matt Breaker here with you tonight. Flying solo tonight. Daniel Dees wasn't feeling well, so told him he could have the night off. Now Dees does an amazing job on the show, so I'm gonna try to wing it here the best I can. We got a couple guests coming on tonight. We got Logan Speyrer, pro MMA fighter out of Louisiana. We got Quentin Henry, bare knuckle fighter. Um, so we got a lot of guests. We're gonna try to keep it going. A lot to talk about. I think Quentin Henry is going to come on first. I think he'll come on about 8:15 or so. Talk to him. Big win at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 15 last weekend in Biloxi. Very quick knockout. He's doing great in the bare knuckle so far. Very solid MMA career. One of those guys that went from the MMA to the bare knuckle world. So we'll see if what his plans are to keep going forward with that. If he was going to jump in MMA a little bit. Um, so you know, we'll figure it out. We'll wing it here. Um, Also, we got UFC Vegas 17, the Thompson versus Neal show coming up this weekend tomorrow. There's a lot going on. KSW 53 tomorrow. They did their weigh-ins today. Everybody was on weight. 8 bouts, 3 title fights. Everybody's on weight. Everything's a go. Also, talk about Bellator with a couple signings. Anthony Rumble Johnson with Bellator now. A lot of people are thinking that'll make for a great bout with Yoel Romero. That would definitely be a big bout the Bellator can make right off the bat. Yoel can obviously definitely move up to the light heavyweight division. He's had some issues where he's blown a couple title chances because he was having issues making that middleweight. Anthony Rumble Johnson, definitely could, fought a lot of light heavyweight. He's one of those fighters that fought at a lot different weights. Definitely, that's his most comfortable spot. I think Yoel will do good, bump up that weight a little bit. So that's definitely, a hot fight that Bellator can make going into the next year. Bellator also signed Darina Mazdik. Now, a lot of people may not recognize the name, but they'll probably recognize the story. Not too long ago in Russia, she's 139 pounds. She fought a 549 pounds sumo wrestler, whatever, and he went at her. Definitely here in the United States, there's a lot, there are definitely some females like Amanda Nunes that could go into those men's division and put a hurt on some of those guys. And but the stateside, not big fans of the men versus women battles, but over there in Russia they let it go. So he got it put to him. So Bellator signed her. I think she's 3-1 as a pro. Um, I guess a big attraction for them. Try to build off of that. So also the AYS awards, keep voting on that stuff. That's good until we're going to keep the polls open until December 31st. Our first show in 2021. We'll come back and we'll talk about who won the awards, and like I said, we're still going to try to do something for those guys. We'll figure something out here. But until Quentin joins us, we'll go ahead and talk about jump into tomorrow's card, the UFC. I think the official title is UFC Vegas 17. So fight night is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Jeff Neal in the main event. As with every other card, several fights have fallen out due to COVID. Looking at it through Tapology right now, it looks like there's been five scheduled fights that fell off due to COVID. Of course, the Leon Edwards versus Khamzat Chimaev, Rick Glenn, Belil Muhammad, and Diego Lima. Muhammad just tested the other day. They had 2 that fell off the other day because of that. But aside from that, it's still a solid card. It's been really hard for the UFC to make solid cards with things like this happening. That's the good thing of having, I know we kind of talked about it last time with the Dana White wanting to cut fighters and all that, but this is the good thing about having such a deep pool. It's when you have fighters that fall off and things like that happen, you got people that you can replenish them with. And that's what they've been able to do. You look at this card, and it's really hard to tell. You had so many fights that fell apart. So we'll look at the main card here. First one we got is Marcin Tybura and Greg Hardy. So it's definitely going to be a tough test for Greg Hardy. We actually made a comment that after he conquered the MMA world, he wanted to go to pro boxing and face the top names. So we'll see. He's got a long way to conquer the MMA world. But right now, Greg Hardy is 7-2. Marcin Tybura is 20-6. So obviously there's a huge advantage there for Tybura when it comes to the experience edge. And Tybura's been on a roll lately. He's won his last 3 in a row, all by decision. But 3 fights for 2020, 3 wins. Before that, he lost 2 in a row, but he really turns around, won 3 in a row, and he's got 7 submissions and 6 KOs. So he can definitely diversify how he wins with 7 decisions. So he's literally like 50-50 on all of his finishes, by finishing every way possible. So he can really mix it up. But Greg Hardy said 7-2. His last bout was so he's won his last 2 in a row. His last one was that the win over Maurice Green. So he lost to Alexander Volkov, who was definitely his biggest task to date for sure, especially not having much of an amateur career and just kind of jumping straight into the pro ranks, pretty much straight to the UFC level. Had a couple of fights on the Contender Series, one on a regional scene. Then he's pretty much been UFC all the way through. So he beat Jorgen De Castro and then Maurice Green. So he's 2 for 2 on his 2020 fight. So both these guys are undefeated in 2020. So they both of them made it tough of a very good year. So like I said, this is going to be a tough test for Green. Tybura is going to be able to bring him into deep waters and just see what he's made of. He went to the only fight in the UFC that he's had that's gone a distance has been with Jorgen De Castro, and Tybura is on a whole different level than what De Castro is. So I'm leaning towards Tybura on this one. I think the experience edge. I think he's going to be able to weather the storm and get through Hardy's initial big burst, and then he's just going to be able to drag him out. Tybura can do it from a plethora of ways. So I think he's going to use all the maximum of his potential, use all his skills, and get Hardy out of there. And that's going to set Tybura up in the heavyweight division, which has constantly been a revolving door. So this is a chance for another guy to step up in there, a veteran, get some chance for some UFC gold, almost like Jan Blachowicz, fellow Polish mate. Veteran for a long time, been champion outside the UFC. Cards fell right, went on the runs at the right time, and he ended up as the champion. So we never know what this can be for Tybura. Like I said, that'd be 4 in a row, a perfect 2020 for him. So like I said, I think I'm gonna go with Tybura on this one, but it's definitely going to be a tough fight. He just got to weather that early storm and go from there. The next bout we have on the card is Marlon Moraes and Rob Font. Moraes, he's coming off of a tough loss to Cody Sandhagen knockout. I think it was the wheel kick. Corey Sandhagen got him with the wheel kick. Yeah, that was in October. He's only fought one. Moraes has only fought once in 2020. Before that, he got the split decision win over Jose Aldo. And before that was the loss to Henry Cejudo. So he may have lost 2 of his last 3, but he has been fighting the top echelon of the wherever he's been for quite a while. I mean, Rafael Assunção, Jimmy Rivera, Aljamain Sterling, John Dodson. Just that's the last handful of opponents he's had. So I mean, he's been in there with the best. Out of 23 wins, he's got 10 KOs, 6 submissions. So the majority of the time, especially for the smaller weights, where they may not necessarily have as high of a finishing rate, he finishes guys pretty quickly. Gets in there, gets it done. Aside from all the split decision before that, he had like 3 first-round victories in a row. Gets in there, gets it done. Rob Font, it's been a while since Rob Font's been in there, which that could definitely be a disadvantage going against somebody in there with as dangerous and aggressive as Moraes is. His last fight was December of last year, so it's going to be over a year since the last time he was in the cage, and before that, it was another year. So it seems like he's only been fighting here lately in December. He had a couple fights in 2018. He fought Sergio Pettis on December 2018. Then he fought Ricky Simone in December 2019. And now he's back, December 2020. So he had a couple fights, in 2019 that were canceled. But just 2020, this is the only bout on this card. 33 years old, been a while, going to step in there with Moraes. that's dangerous. So I'm gonna definitely go with Moraes on this one. It wouldn't surprise me if he was able to get in there and get the finish, and get the bout taken care of pretty quick. So we go to our next fight here. We got Michael Pereira, 24-11, and he is won his last fight, Zaleem and Maedaf. He got a rear naked choke. That was in September. Lost his first fight in 2020 to Diego Sanchez, was the illegal knee. So you never know what could have happened, when situations like that happen. So far in the UFC, he's 2-2. But like I said, that bout with Sanchez there. He's the guy he's facing is on a run tear right now through the UFC, Chaos Williams, and he's been doing exactly what his name is, just bringing chaos to the UFC. 2 UFC bouts, a grand total of under 1 minute combined. He's got a 27-second knockout against Alex Moreno in his debut, and then he came back last month and got a 30-second knockout against Abdul Hassan, who is a very dangerous striker in his own right. I think Hassan, all of his wins were by KO. So, you knew coming into this when somebody was going to sleep. And Williams was able, to pull the trigger on that one, get it done fast. But, in his career, though, he has – a lot of people will always say, oh, well, can he go to a decision? But if you look at this guy's career, he has several decision wins on his resume. So he can go to a decision and win. He's got submission wins, first-round submission wins. He's got, obviously the knockout power, which he's shown at the UFC level. So, this is definitely, his bout to win. He can definitely end the year on a hot note if he can get in there and get another quick knockout. And then for our co-main event, Jose Aldo is taking on Marlon Vera. And Jose Aldo is definitely one of those that's the first ballot Hall of Fame level, UFC Hall of Famer. Many will still say he's the greatest featherweight of all time, regardless of what happened with, McGregor. Regardless of, Holloway's run, the bouts they had. Just you look at the longevity of Aldo and what he did for that division when it was nothing, when it was integrated from WEC, and just the run that he's went on for as long as his run was. For the longest time, he was the most dominant champion. He lost in Brazil in November of 2005. And then didn't lose again until the McGregor fight in December 2015. So 10 years where he was running through top-level talent. Chad Mendes, Korean Zombie, Frankie Edgar, Kenny Florian, Mark Hamonic, Manny Gamburin, Uriah Faber, Mark Brown. That's all his opponents in a row. That's a killer's row to face consecutively like that. Definitely that's going to be a great showdown there. But since we got our first guest here, we'll go ahead and bring him in. Quentin Henry, welcome to the show.
What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? BKFC star with the big knockout. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good, man. Just got my boy to sleep, so now I get to go pick up the chaos that he has destroyed, and hang out with you guys for a minute. What's up?
Hey, I hear you, man. So, congratulations on the win. First off, and the bare knuckle in general, it's been blowing up here lately. How do you, from your point inside the cage, or inside the ring, I should say, how do you see the crowd getting? Is it getting more into? Do you see it growing from the inside point of it?
Well, we had the COVID rules were kind of shutting down how many people were there. I'm glad the fire marshal there because there's no way that was only 50% of that building, and but my first fight was at the Gulf Coast Coliseum prior to all this, man, and it was packed out then. I think that was BKFC 7 or something, and then each one of them just keeps getting bigger. But I haven't, I've fought on a show or somebody I know has been on the show, and as far as I know, they're selling out every venue they have.
Yeah, and it seems like for a lot of fighters, it's almost like a place where they can kind of rebuild their career. Like for Jason Knight, it kind of reinvigorated his career.
Right.
Artem Lobov, it's almost did the same thing for him. Do you see that as well, where bare knuckle is giving a lot of these guys maybe that you've seen that may have looked kind of tired when you've seen them maybe backstage or in the ring, where it seems like bare knuckle is bringing some of these guys back to life?
Uh, so I don't want to be like, saying like they looked tired or for whatever reason. It's I was 30 when I decided I didn't want to fight anymore in MMA. It just wasn't the same sport. But yeah, it is cool to see that. Guys kind of get excited about that. Hector Lombard and guys like that coming to fight, are still fighting because I mean, you not that bare knuckle fighting's easier. It's definitely grittier than MMA. But as far as the toll it takes on your body, the training, not having to wrestle every day, not having to grapple, and getting picked up and slammed, on top of getting punched and kicked and everything else. It's a little bit easier on your body, I guess. The training camp.
Yeah, it's more so like a boxing training camp, you would say,
Right, right.
More
And I
so.
mean, I've had some boxing training camps where I get pretty beat up,
Yeah,
but in bare
yeah,
knuckle, it's not about, the point isn't to take shots. So there's no point to ever really be getting hit in training because then you're doing something wrong. Um, but, so there's that, but there's not having to wear, I don't wear, the big gloves all the time when I train. I do everything bare knuckle. I used to have shoulder problems.
yeah,
My whole career. And I think, turns out I think that was one of the contributing issues is that I was using 16, 18-ounce gloves when I was in there hitting the bag and doing that. And it was, and I mean, obviously from some damage I had done to my shoulder prior. But, I can put on 16-ounce gloves and, after about 2 or 3 rounds, I feel it, but I can go with bare knuckle all day. I never get tired throwing bare knuckles. So it's a completely different style altogether.
So do you think so your MMA days are done? You're pretty much sticking with bare knuckle. You think you may end up back inside a cage?
If they paid me enough, there's always, I'm a brown
Yeah,
belt in jiu-jitsu. I own my own
yeah,
jiu-jitsu school.
right. Yeah,
Um, so it's not like I don't know how to do all that stuff.
yeah,
It's not the sport itself that got to me. It was the business, just was tainted to me. And it just took the fun out of it. And I just decided to move on, type of deal.
yeah. I was gonna ask you about the Hero Fitness Academy. How are you doing right now with the COVID and all that? Are you still
Man, we're
getting
doing
through it?
actually pretty good. We're coming back. And it actually now, I think I was talking to my kids coaches today or yesterday. We had a big Christmas party for them. And, we had like 25, 30 kids there. And I'm like, it's actually think it's benefiting us now because nothing else is open. We're the only
Yeah,
ones,
yeah, that's true.
that are open. So, but yeah, I mean, it's doing pretty good from where it was. We had to go 3 months without anybody being there.
Yeah,
And then, a certain amount of your business depends on people, you're doing things on contracts. And there's certain people that just show up or don't show up at all, but keep paying their contract because they're a good person. And that's what people do.
right.
They stick to their word. And, but then when the corona happens and then we're closed for 3 months, that gives those people a legitimate reason. Like, okay, look, you aren't going to be here and you can't keep them there, so it's like,
Yeah,
let them cancel the contract. So that was a lot that kind of went down. But then I, made the transition. Both of my schools were predominantly jiu-jitsu schools. And then over the corona, I turned, my one that's a little closer to my house, into more like a striking gym for me to train at. So now I've got a jiu-jitsu mat in there, and then the other side set up with like heavy bags and everything I need to train. So, and I've got my boxing coach, Bruce, is over there training my dad. I mean, my dad's coached me since I was a kid. He's running an MMA program over there. So we just made the switch. There's other jiu-jitsu places but I'm the MMA guy, and I've always done
right.
that. So, that's what I wanted to get back to. And then, the Rona shut that down. So it kind of gave me an opportunity to regrow in that direction.
So I saw something interesting that you had posted. Jake Paul is obviously all over the place for boxing.
Right.
It looks like you're interested. If you would have to see him fight, it would be Nate Diaz. Is that where you're leaning? Is
What?
it
How cool would that
just so he
be?
could catch a beating?
Look, dude, I'm not the biggest Nate Diaz fan because of his antics. And I used to think they were antics, but then I realized he's just like that. and like he wouldn't play that game with him. He would drag it out. If it was a 12-round fight, he would make it last all 12 rounds. Yep. And he would do everything he did to hurt him the entire time. And while he was doing it, he would talk smack, and I would love it. And, you know, because the other ones aren't going to do it justice. You know, Floyd Mayweather's not going to – he's going to dip and dodge and blah, 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 but he's not going to hurt him. And Nate Diaz is going to take his soul. That would be awesome. Or Robbie Lawler. Yeah. But Nate Diaz is more of the showman, you know.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I know they're really trying to push Dylan Dennis. It looks like we're showing the I guess the video or whatever where Jake Paul or them, they were throwing water balloons or something.
Yeah.
So, but
oh man,
yeah,
is this real life? Oh man, what do we come to?
Yeah, that's all. I love what you're saying about Nate Diaz. He would not play the games. He would put it to him. He would really make him.
No. Hey, bro, you ain't rolling up on Nate Diaz and throwing water bottles at Nate Diaz. No. Let me tell you, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. He would have chased him down. And Dylan Dennis was like, yeah, well, coming to the truck, and then they gassed it. And I'm like, bro, you had a chance. You could have jumped on the truck.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, don't tell me y'all didn't stage this. Like, get out of here. Trying to get paid. Don't nobody know you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, as far as in ring for you, what's next for you? Have anything you want to get back in there soon? You want to take some time off, and what you got next in store?
I mean, I'm not getting any younger, you know, but you know, the rankings came out yesterday, so I don't know what impact that has on what's going on. I know, you know, I haven't talked too much in depth, I guess, with Mr. Feldman, you know, so I know they want me back for another fight, and I'm down to do that, obviously. I think they're doing a big fight with Paige Van Zandt, I think in Tampa, right?
Yeah, Tampa, yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there was talk about that. And then I'm not a selfish dude, and I know there's a bunch of people that want to be on that card and all, but you know, I'm not. I don't think they need me on that card, you know. But well, I mean, maybe I'm just being humble, but you know, I'm not a headliner over Paige Van Zandt, you know. But it'd be cool to fight on the card. I'm just willing to do whatever they were doing, but I haven't talked to him, like I said, but I'm not expecting to be asked in February. I was looking at March. I think there's something supposed to go down in March, so that's more what I'm aiming for. But I mean, I'm training right now, so I could fight next week.
Yeah, and from looking at the rankings, looks like it had you number 2 behind Hector Lombard.
That's right. Yeah,
that would be a great show in there. I think they had Lorenzo Hunt right behind. So man, either way you go, those are.
That's kind of an interesting thing, because that's why it's like when I say, well, the rankings came out, but you know, Hector fought at 201 at his fight with Mundell, and I don't know what his fight was. I don't know if it was at 205 with. I didn't look at the weigh-in with Kendall Grove, you know, but he's not like a 205 guy. You know,
right.
I think the fight was supposed to be at 195, but then his opponent got cut or something, and then Mundell stepped in on short notice, so they did it bigger. You know, so it's kind of the rankings are kind of skewed, and then, you know, for him to fight Kendall Grove, those are 2 veteran guys. They're not worried about cutting another 10 pounds, bro. They're trying to bang it out. They're just going to be like, hey, what do you weigh? And he go, okay, well, I'll get about like that. Let's just call it that. Yeah. You know, so, you know, it's just one of those things. But that's awesome to be like right behind Hector Lombard. Check this out. True fact. The very first professional MMA event I ever went to, Hector Lombard fought main event.
Really? Was that a Bellator?
Yeah, it was a Bellator in Monroe, and I was 20 years old, and he starched that dude. It was pretty sick.
Yeah.
And then he's also come, you know, so the shorts that I wear are with, I got those in a charity boxing event that I've always done around here in town with firemen and cops. And so, I mean, those are the shorts that I actually, you know, they give you to fight in. But Hector's actually come to our event here in Monroe a couple times to kind of like, you know, be the celebrity that takes pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've actually met him a few times. Super, super nice dude. Super nice.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, either way, it looks like there's great stuff on the horizon for you.
Right.
Man, I'm not gonna keep any more of your time. I know you've been, busy trying to enjoy the holidays. Is there anything else you want to put out there? Anything you want to promote? Sponsors, social media, anything like that you want to put out there before you go?
My managers at Goat Combat Academy, the rest of my teammates have been good. Hero Fitness Academy. This is coming soon. This is interesting here, right? Okay. One guess. What is it?
I don't know. Give it to us.
Heroes Old Fashions, bro.
Oh,
All right. So I got this
all
buddy
right.
we've been making these old fashions. He's like super good at it. And I've been trying to talk him into like taking it to selling them. And he's like, all right, bro, I'm finally going to do it. And this is it. This is it. So we're going to batch them and start selling them. Heroes Old Fashions. What? Awesome. Hey, and it's a double meaning because it's old fashioned like the drink and then like an old fashioned
Uh,
ass whooping.
there you go.
Man, you got to see
Yeah.
the label. It's super sick. Sick.
And definitely, we have to get with you and get it out here on this show so we can
Heck yeah, man.
help y'all promote it. I'm definitely
Sweat.
down to drink it. I got some whiskey right here. I'm would definitely help you with that.
Nice,
Uh,
man.
so yeah, man. Like I said, appreciate you having you on. Definitely have to have you back on. Get back together with you. But we appreciate you giving some of our you some of our time, and definitely catch you down the road for sure.
Heck yeah, man. Anytime. Take it easy,
All right,
buddy.
brother. Appreciate it. Thanks. All right, so it's Quentin Henry join us. Um, Now we got another Louisiana guy for you, Logan Speyrer. Let's go ahead and get Logan in here. Logan, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, man?
Hey, been a while, man. What you been up to?
Well, we just came back from Walmart. We got a green screen going on.
Oh.
You can see. Yeah,
Shit.
looks nice, huh?
Yeah. Man, you doing it bigger than I am back here. So, man, I know you're recovering from an injury. How's all that going? Everything on course to return when you're wanting to? How you feeling?
Yeah. So I had like another injury on my knee, but I'm back running, back in business. Not 100% grappling yet, but I started grappling 2 weeks ago. I'm getting back into it slowly, taking my time, not trying to kill it. It's hard not
Right.
to, but.
Oh yeah. Anybody that's seen you fight knows that you go 100 or nothing inside the cage. You got to, or you're gonna get eaten up in there.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
I'm sure it's hard in the training. You got to train how you want to perform. So you got to train 100%. So I can only imagine knowing you, it's hard for you to pull your foot off the gas pedal.
It's a
But
lot of sitting on the sidelines and watching for a while, and
yeah,
that shit, it gets me kind of like depressed, just watching people.
yeah.
And, I, I want to push it, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that's a good chance for you to sit back and watch what other people are doing too. So
Oh, yeah.
you
Oh, yeah.
just taking. And I know
Still
you got a
learning.
great. Yeah, I know Team Juggernaut. You got great coaches, great teammates. You're learning. Braxton King's been coming up. I'm sure you can watch some of these guys and pick and point things out, and build yourself like that.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time I met you. I even remember when it was. It was I want to say it was October 12th, 2018. It was when you fought Jake Foster with the head kick or the shin kick or whatever, however you knocked him out. I remember the first
Yeah.
time. That was the first time I met you. I was like, man, I know this dude is special right here. I think I got with you right after that, and we did an article or something like. And we've kind of been close ever since then.
Kind of
So,
hard. It's kind of hard to match that again after I
oh
made
yeah,
that happen. It's like
yeah,
now
absolutely.
everybody expects that to happen every fight. It's like, huh? Well,
Well,
it
yeah,
just
I mean, if
happens.
Yeah. You just if you go to Google and just type in your name, that's like the first thing that pops up. So anybody that watches this, they're gonna, oh, let me go see who Logan is. That's gonna be the first thing that pops up. But
I hope that's the first thing that pops up. I hope that is.
yeah, it is. It is. If there's anything else, hopefully it don't pop up. But that's what pops up.
Yeah.
But since then to now, I mean, you've had some amazing, especially Abe Sellers. We'll talk about that a little bit. I mean, one of the best fights I've ever seen in person. To where you've now turned pro. How have you felt that you've grown in the last couple of years as a fighter from maybe that to where you are now? Not letting that get not getting too cocky about that and saying, okay, I knew exactly what you said. Hey, I can't replicate that. I just got to move forward. How have you grown since then to where you are now?
It definitely. I think it really, really awakened me and lit a fire under my ass after losing that fight. Because I mean, I already in my heart knew I didn't lose, but I also knew like I didn't do enough to win. But as a fighter by heart, I know that if there's no damn time limit on that fight, my ass would have kept fighting until I would have died.
Right.
It would have been.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have lost that fight. You see, I would not have lost that fight. I was in that thing until I had to. Somebody was going to die eventually, and it wouldn't have been me. But you know, but I think I give that fight a lot of credit for helping me grow. It made me realize I need to work on my boxing a lot. You know, I was fast. You know, I was crisp, but I wasn't throwing really too many combinations. I was just like throwing 1-2s, throwing a lot of jabs and everything, and I was kind of hesitant on. You know, it made me grow. I even joined the boxing gym after that fight. Tony Thibodeau in Lafayette. I went and started boxing with him along with my jiu-jitsu at Team Juggernaut, and man, I'm a whole different animal now. I feel, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They just gonna have to see, you know, every fight after I fought that fight was I had started boxing like in a boxing setting, you know. It's a whole different ball game when you start boxing. You know, it definitely helps a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we talk about that all the time. We talk about, you know, boxers that want to go from boxing to MMA. It's a different kind of striking. You know, boxing is not MMA. Boxing and boxing are totally different. You know, you kind of need both aspects and how to integrate them. You know, it's a totally different thing and that's what a lot of people don't realize. But, you know, that's where you've, you know, grown, is where you've been able to integrate that. You know, you almost have to train jiu-jitsu and then work it into MMA. You have to learn the base and then you kind of evolve in it. Because then that's all MMA is just an evolution of all these combats put together. You need to know, you know, the source of them, and that's what, you know, that's where you have gone to. You've gone to the base to build yourself up.
Yeah, like even after a win, if I win a fight, I mean, I've only had 8 fights, so cage fights so far. So, but even still, like I look at those fights, even if I win, I'm like, man, I'm not. It's like I after the fight, everybody's hyping shit, and to myself, I'm like, man, that wasn't good. That wasn't enough.
Your own worst critic.
Yeah, so it's like I'm never happy with a win, you know, because even after I won my first professional fight, I was like, man, screw that. Like that's not enough. Like I felt I was tired. Like I mean, I did throw like within 2 minutes through like over 100 strikes, but I was like, man, I can't be this tired. So that also lit a fire under my ass to run more, you know, and do extra.
Yeah, I mean, does that have any psychological? You know, when the amateurs is 3-minute rounds and then going to pros it's 5 minutes. Does that have some kind of, you know, mental where it's like, okay, I know it's going to be longer rounds. Do I need to, or do you just, you know, I'm just gonna get in there and just go?
Yeah, I try not to even think about the time, honestly. At this point, maybe in the future, it'd probably be smarter to think about the time and but I don't know. I'm kind of like. I kind of go instinctively most of the time. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe I'll learn as I go. But I really don't try to worry about the time. I just try to worry about filling it out, seeing, you know, how bad he wants it, like, or seeing. I'm trying to finish this guy, you know, whoever it is. I'm trying to finish it fast. Maybe I shouldn't try to finish it fast because in the future there will be tougher opponents. But you know, it's all a process. You grow as it, you know, as you go.
Yeah. You're not paid by the hour. You know, get in there and get out, you know, as quick as you can. But
yeah, I mean, everybody was like, "Oh, dude," like for my first pro fight, everybody was like, "Man, you don't know that." They had people like telling me, "Man, this dude, you know, he's gonna put it on you." I'm like, "Well, you know, we're gonna see," and we saw, you know, and that's how I go in every fight. You know, I'm not stupid. I know they're in there for a reason, but I know they're only a man. You know, we're just human. They could break.
yeah, and I mean, combat sports it's a lot more mental than it is physical.
My boy's laughing at me over there. Oh, by the way, the mic is brought to you by Blake Baudouin, and the laptop is brought to you by Landis Solar. Yeah, I couldn't have done this on my own. I'd have been doing it. I'd have been thugging on my cell phone. So, thanks again. That's an early shout out.
And you can always get the shirts to help them out too.
Yeah, boy. Thank you.
So, yeah, I mean, so when do you plan to get back in there? You looking, you know, early next year to get back
man.
in there? You have anything set, or you just kind of keeping it
I
open?
think I don't think I'm gonna fight again, man. I think I'm gonna just start modeling.
Hey, whatever pays more. Huh?
Nah, man, I don't know. I think February. Man, I tell you what, if my leg was 100% right now, I would fight in December. After breaking my kneecap riding racehorses, I got ran over by a little filly on the track, and I had to get some pins put in there. But I'm good now. It's like it healed, but my leg shrunk to nothing. It's like I
All
didn't
the
want to let
muscle
the
mass
doctor.
when we got it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was so self-conscious about it. I didn't even want to let the doctor look at my leg. You know, imagine how that is for me, like, you know, in the bedroom or whatever, you know, or whatever. You know, I don't want to take my clothes off for anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's coming along good, man. I think I'm about 70% on my leg, muscle wise. But I mean, me and my brother, we've been running pretty consistently. Like I ran 6 miles, I think Wednesday or Thursday. It hurts, but I gotta push it.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
grapple 6 rounds like I was, or 5 rounds, whatever it was. But I started grappling like last week, and it hurts like a bitch afterwards. But I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it going.
Yeah, you said you've been training boxing. You ever thought about just taking some boxing bouts in the meantime, or maybe just
Yeah.
to get your legs back under you, so to speak, and then
Hey,
because MMA is obviously.
what's up with bare knuckle boxing, man? I'll do that. It's
There
not.
you go.
You see, I noticed that it's all about celebrities with them. What's up with new and up and comers? You know, that's all they want. It's like they only trying to pull people out of the UFC. What's up with people who could fight that ain't made it to the UFC yet? What if I want to use bare knuckle boxing to make it to the UFC?
Yeah, you
You
definitely
know?
be the first. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I saw somewhere they were doing open tryouts or something, but I don't know. I'm sure that was probably still limited to a certain crowd. But yeah, I mean,
Right.
obviously, yeah, with the Paige Van Zandt, she didn't even have an opponent. There, she's on the front of the.
I'll
I
fight her.
personally don't know how well.
I'll fight her. I'm not sexist.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I talked about it earlier on the show. They Bellator just signed a female fighter. She's 139 pounds. She fought a sumo wrestler in Russia or something, and knocked him out in like a minute and a half or something. So Bellator ended up signing her or something. So I
Really?
mean, Russia will do those mixed gender fights in a heartbeat. But
Man, hey, I'm not against it, bro. Some of those females, they could go.
oh yeah, he came at her too. He came at her swinging. She got out the way and just put it on him.
I
But
wouldn't
yeah,
take them lightly. I wouldn't take them lightly. I come in just like that, man.
yeah.
They strap up. They want it.
Yeah, that's it. You like you said earlier. They're in there for the same reasons. They've been training too. They're in there for a fight.
It would be more sexist not to punch them as hard as you could, right? It would be, right? Because then you're holding back because they're a female.
All right, we'll go to a different subject before we both get in trouble.
Hey, Landis, what you say? Money talks, bullshit walks, right?
There you go. So, do you do any jiu-jitsu tournaments or anything like that, or are you going to try to do things like that also in the meantime?
I would do some jiu-jitsu tournaments. Like I'm into that. I am. The only reason I haven't done it is because of I was fighting a lot for the last couple of years. In 2019, I fought 5 times. And before that, I think I had 3 fights a year before that within a couple months. But yeah, I'm into jiu-jitsu tournaments. It's just they're also expensive. Like I'm here to try to make some money.
Right.
And if they would do some jiu-jitsu tournaments that would benefit like a charity or something, I'd probably be even more into it to put my money into it. Like if they're benefiting like some children or something along those lines to help somebody besides themselves, which some of them might. I don't know for sure. I don't know. I'm not gonna name any of them, but I would do a jiu-jitsu tournament. But I'm not into giving my money away. I already it's already hard enough to pay my gym membership. You know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize even as a pro, you're not getting paid enough to live off of.
Ain't
You know,
getting paid shit.
that's what a lot of people don't realize. I mean, I'm lucky enough to work with so many promotions and fighters. You know, I know it's nothing near what you can make to live off of. You're probably still paying into it, you know, all your equipment and your training and all that. You know, even though you're getting paid as a pro, you're probably still losing money in the long run.
I tell you, bro, if it would come down to earnings versus what I had to owe to the game, I'm way underneath, man. Because the surgery on my leg, I tell you what, that was like $80,000. So
Yeah.
I mean, come on, if I ever make that much money in a fight, which hopefully I will, good thing they had insurance on the promotion.
Yeah.
When I fought in Dallas, when I broke my fingers,
Right. Yeah.
because then I'd be screwed. I mean, it's not. You shouldn't do this sport or whatever you want to call it if if you got like a career going on already, because the risk is way too much. I'm just doing this because I don't know what else to do right now. Like, I wasn't brought up in a good household that guided me into something smart, which I'm not stupid, but it just, I don't know. I got into martial arts because I liked it. And I guess I'm just too stupid to do something smart. I don't know. So, and also the only thing that stays consistent in my life is training, to say the least, at least I have that to fall back to.
Right. You got something to look forward to. You know exactly, where you'll be at what time and what you'll be doing. And like you said,
No
it's
matter
something
what,
consistent. Yeah.
no matter what, I'm gonna be training somewhere. No matter where I'm at, I'm gonna train.
And I'm sure even more so for a training camp. I'm sure you're even, because you got a fight coming up, you know where you need to be 4 weeks out, you know where you need to be 2 weeks out. So I'm sure even more so for somebody as structured as you are, that, training camp is probably, better for somebody like you.
Just stay consistent. I don't know about a camp, but like, I never had a camp. I never been to a camp yet. Like, I never went somewhere and I had a camp. But since end of 2015, I've been training consistently in at least jiu-jitsu, and we've always thrown hands and did some kickboxing, but it's consistent.
Yeah. So even between fights, you pretty much have the same regimen. You don't really change it up too much. You know when you have a fight, you still kind of keep everything the same.
Well, in my head, I got some. I think about things. I watch videos. I watch little small things. Some things that are just in your subconscious, like that you work on. I think it's all. I criticize myself hard when it comes to even when I win. Like, I'm always like, man, my hands are down way too much right here. Even though I was whipping that ass, I could have been throwing punches to the body. I was just head hunting, stuff like that. I could have, if this guy would have been any tougher, I would have gassed out and he would have whipped my ass afterwards. Little small things like that I'm hard on myself about. So I'm not stupid. I go and I think about that when I'm running. I think about it with everything I do.
Are there any fighters that you like to watch and like pick from? Like, hey, maybe I'm gonna try this, or I want to try to mix fighter A and fighter B. That's gonna make me, or that's who I see myself. Are there any of those kind of guys that you really like to pick at and watch and pull from?
Like that I would like to be like, you mean?
Yeah. As far as your style, do you watch like Conor McGregor say like, oh man, I like how he does his kicks, or I like how this person stands, or I like how this person throws their jabs, or are there any fighters like that you're like, man, I really like how this person does this. I want to try to do that in my game.
Man, there's a lot of people. I think too many just to name it. In particular, I watch people, and I don't have any favorites. I'm not like I'm not like a fan of like too many people. I do watch them and I respect their styles and appreciate it, but I don't like concentrate too much on one guy, on one fighter. I like a lot. I take notes from, mental notes, and like I said, a lot of it's, just instinctive and just coming up like that, fighting, and just always having like brothers to mess around with, and just going to like a just growing up like scrapping a little bit, you know. It's a mental
Yeah.
game, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's more mental than anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh,
I grew up pretty white trashy, so like I know how the whole lingo with the mental game with fighting goes, you know. It's just
so when you're watching, so if you're going to fight somebody and you're watching their film, are you watching to see, hey, okay, this person is more of a grappler, this person's more of a striker? Are you kind of looking for things like that? Are you looking for, hey, this person, when they throw an overhand, they leave that other hand down, I need to try to sneak in when they do? Is that kind of the things you're looking for when you're watching
an
these guys
opponent.
fighting? Yeah, an opponent. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I do look at that. You know, I haven't had like with my fights, I haven't had that much film study. You know, there was maybe on a couple of opponents I got to study some film. Uh, I guess it helped me more than I realized, you know, whether I hadn't had it. But I don't like try to take it too much. I don't try to anticipate what they're gonna do too much. You know, I kind of, like I said, I kind of just go in there like it's a fight. Like I never met this guy, and like he's coming. We just end up in this place together, and he's starting some shit with me, and we're gonna fight. You know, and we just go with it.
Yeah, and I'm
Maybe
sure
maybe that's slow. I don't know, but that's what a fight is mostly. You know.
and I'm sure at the amateur ranks and even starting as a pro, it a lot of fighters are going to be very inconsistent because, like you said, you're
Yeah.
kind of still developing your ways. You're still, like you said, you pinpoint everything you do and you try to improve. When there's a lot you can improve on, you're going to fix something. As you get further along in your career, I'm sure watching tape will become more relevant. But like right
Yeah.
now where you're at, like you said, is kind of just everyone's still evolving. There's not much you can really grasp out of it.
Right.
And I'm kind of the same way when I watch the fights, even though I don't fight. I'm boxing a little bit, but it's kind of the same way when you watch fighting or UFC, Bellator, whatever, as a fan, and then you watch it from a different. I watch it more as an analyst, because obviously the writings I do and things like that. You watch it totally different. Like you see things different. You see the feet turn a different way when they're throwing. I was like, oh, if he would just pivot that foot when he would
Yeah.
throw that
Oh
strike,
yeah.
it'd get more pop on it. So that's I'm sure that's what you mean by how when you watch UFC and stuff like that, you're watching more of it analytically and
Oh
more,
yeah. I could definitely critique some. If I could
yeah.
critique fighters, you know, I know what to look for. You know, I've been around guys like I've been around guys who know how to box. You know, and I've trained with guys who know how to box, and they've helped me a lot. And it's crazy how much I didn't. It's crazy. It's crazy how much I didn't know when I started doing more stand up and technical boxing. And I know there's a lot to look at. You know, I mean, it could be just them not pivoting on their back foot to throw a right hand. So you see a lot. You see people, even in the pros, not using crisp boxing or, bringing their hands back. Willing, like, telegraphing their punches, all kind of stuff like those little things. I could see that, and I do look for
Yeah,
things like that.
it's the basics. It started the basics and build up. MMA is in its infancy as a sport, but boxing's
Right.
been around for thousands of years. There's records of it in the modern, the previous Olympic Games before the modern times. I mean, it's one of those that's been around forever. So MMA is kind of still in its infancy. So I mean, yeah, you got to go back to those roots and pull Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and old school boxing, and I'm sure you do some wrestling, and you got to integrate it together, and that's what mixed martial arts is.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
so
that
I mean, is it?
threw me off.
Yeah, I know. I like that one. So we went through a couple of them. Man, I'm gonna let you go here. Is there anything else you want to put out there? Any social medias you want people to follow? Anything like that? Any sponsors you want to shout out? Anything like that? While you got the air here.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna shout out my team, Team Juggernaut. Let's shout out Tony Thibodeau, boxing, Flash MMA, in Lafayette. Everybody at Team Juggernaut, my teammates, these guys over here that helped me put this get on this podcast. Also, Jeff Speyrer, y'all should follow him. He helped me. He helped me out a lot. You know, get on help me with my fitness, stuff. And he sent me some good supplements from First Form. He does veterans charities for veterans with PTSD. He raises like a lot of money for those guys and helps out with that. Trying to think of some more. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's get some bare. I'm thinking about doing some bare knuckle boxing, man. What you think about that, though?
Hey, man, I'll be there. I'll watch it for sure.
Who you want to see me fight?
And run through it. Just run your way through everybody.
I don't know too many guys in there. Who you think would be a good matchup for me right now?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look at their list. Because I mean they're adding people.
At 135, you think people tell me don't do it, man? You're gonna get cut up too much. What you think about that?
Well,
I mean, I fought people with bare knuckles before.
I mean, from what they say, it's a lot less stress on the body overall. Your face is going to look worse, but the stress on the body and they say brain damage. Brain damage is brain damage no matter how you get it. You get it inside a football helmet, you can get it boxing, you can get it MMA. It don't matter how it happens, it's still the same. But from what I've heard from bare knuckles guys that I've talked to, even Quentin Henry was just on. He was talking about it. He said it's a lot.
That's a big guy, though, man.
he's a big boy. He's a big boy. He had some severe shoulder injuries that pretty much ended his MMA career. But he said, bare knuckle, it's totally different, less strain on his body. It's all on you, I guess. But I mean, I think you could do it. I would love to see you do it. Get in there, yeah.
I don't know how to get into it. I don't know who to talk to.
Man, we'll have to see. I know it's still kind of limited right now because there's only like 4 or 5 states that commission it right now. So it's like Florida, Mississippi, Wyoming, Colorado, and actually I think that might be it. So it's still kind of working its way back up as far as sanctioning. A lot of commissions are still kind of, worried about it. But I think once it becomes more prevalent, it's going to be a lot easier to get on board. I know there's BKFC, and I think there's another one. So it's still kind of young, too. BKFC, I know if you watch their Facebook, I know a lot of times they put stuff up where they'll do like tryouts. I think they did one somewhere in Florida not too long ago. So they're doing random, because they're finally starting to snowball and become a real big organization now. They're definitely at the front of it. They're doing tryouts in different cities and stuff. So, man, keep an eye on it. I'll keep an eye on it for you, too. I know Mississippi, Biloxi is a huge area for it. Mississippi was actually the second state in the country to legalize it. Colorado had laws on the book since like the 1880s that legalized bare knuckle. Nobody really utilized it. But now Mississippi has been one of those. So they come to this. They're in the South a lot. Obviously we're a lot more liberal with fighting down here. It's always been a safe haven for UFC, in the early days and stuff. So, man, this is definitely the spot to be for it. I'll keep an eye out for it too.
They haven't done it in the state yet.
No, because Louisiana does not sanction bare knuckle fighting. So they don't have an event here. They do a lot in Mississippi. Like I said, it's big there. Florida. There's only like 5 states that have it technically legalized per se, where it's legal to bare knuckle box. So it's growing though. I mean, it's one of them sports that's really growing. It's coming back huge in Britain, which is where it all started. Bare knuckle in England, they're having big organizations there. So I mean, it's on the rise, man. Just keep your eye out. I'll keep an eye out too. Mississippi is probably Biloxi is probably the closest hub for our area right now for it. But man, right. It's coming up. It's coming up for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, I mean, I figure I already started bare knuckle boxing before I started MMA. I don't see what the difference is. I mean, you ain't got to worry about getting taken down. You ain't got to worry about getting elbowed or kicked or kneed.
Right.
So, I mean, and everybody's not really trying to throw 100% hard because they're going to break their hands. I know how it is. I just broke my hands on people's heads.
I think Charles Bennett has fought 2 or 3 times in bare knuckle, and he's broke his hands every single time because he just goes in there. You know how Charles Bennett is, so he breaks his hands every time. So yeah, like I said, it's a different kind of striking too. You got to lay off just a little.
He lives that life though. He lives a fighter life though. And,
absolutely.
You gotta let them hands rest though.
Yeah, I think he's had like 50 pro fights. He's been around forever, so his hands are probably, like dust anyway, just from crumbling and breaking so much. They're probably just tore up and beat up so bad. But yeah, man, definitely. I'll keep an eye out on it for you. You never know. We get you on, you get up on there, you come back here.
Yeah, I'm ready. Hey, I'm ready next month, bro. Like, I want to, like, if I can get on bare knuckle, whatever, I'll do it. If I could box, that's cool too. Whatever comes first. I'm not sticking.
Yeah.
I know I'm an MMA fighter, but that's not. I mean, I'll do whatever will give me a paycheck and give me, some kind of a platform.
Yeah,
Because
that's
either
all
way,
it is. Yep, getting the platform. Yeah, that's all it
either
is.
way, I know how I'm coming. I might get my ass
Yep.
whipped, but I know it ain't gonna be that easy. That's how I look at it. Because I'm training. I'm gonna be training as hard as I can. So I want the best I could get. I don't want any scrubs. I want to fight the highest level of competition I could get right now. Because I'm not trying to mess around with this thing. You only have so much time to do anything in this sport.
Absolutely.
To make any kind of real money.
And I mean, even MMA, look at where it started and where it is now. Look how many, it used to be just Taekwondo schools. Now there's a MMA Jiu-Jitsu school on every corner. There's so many people that come out of it wanting to be fighters. There's so many, like you said, the pool is getting so large now. There's so many people that want to do it. It can really, like you said, as you get older, you kind of wean yourself out because there's so many people waiting in the wings behind you that want to take that spot. So
Right.
absolutely, I hear you. Whatever's there, I know you'll fight. You'll do bare knuckle one week and do MMA the next week. I know how you are, so
And my
I
body
know
holds up
you'll
to
do
it,
it
bro.
all. I know you'll go every week. I know it. So yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and let you get out of here. I appreciate having you on. Definitely got to come back. When you get to bare knuckle, get to UFC Bellator, you got to come back on definitely and come back on here for us.
All right. Well, let me shout out. I do have a new sponsor. My newest sponsor, Heat and Eat Meals. Out of Opelousas with Sky Olivier, Callie Olivier. They ship out, it's meal prep company. That's my newest sponsor, along with Bruin Scoop, Opelousas, Sombreros, Dwayne's Paint Body, Owl's Auto Sales. That's all my sponsors right now. And Team Juggernaut, Flash MMA, Tony's Boxing. Thank y'all. And whoever wants to get me on their show, I'm down to scrap probably at the beginning of next year.
Definitely, yeah, we'll definitely get that out there, and I know hopefully 2021 will be a lot better year for everybody. Be a lot easier to get these shows going, and get a lot more going on. Louisiana is still kind of in shutdown mode. They had one event, in Shreveport, in October, November, and then it's been nothing since. So hopefully 2021 everything can get back on board.
Right.
Promotions can get going, fighters can get going. So we'll see how it goes. But man, like I said, I appreciate having you on. Definitely love it.
Yeah, thank you.
I know you got some new shirts coming out, or I think I saw you put a link or something out. Send it back to me. We'll get it up.
Yeah,
we'll help
it's coming
support
on.
you.
I got to get it all together. It's not all the way done yet, the t-shirts, but yeah, I got some new ones coming out.
Yeah, definitely get send me the link for it. We'll get it put up for you. Well, because I mean that's why we're here too, is that to help guys like y'all, try to give y'all. I know this is a small platform, but we try to do what we can to help y'all out. So man, send it to me. And I've been a fan from almost day one. You know that. So
I know, man.
I appreciate having you on. And anytime you want to come back, man, it's your second home. You come back and join us.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All right, brother. I appreciate having you on. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, so that was a couple great guests there. Quentin Henry from BKFC and Logan Speyrer. Looks like Logan wants to get into BKFC. That would be awesome. I've seen anybody that's seen Logan fight knows he can really bring the striking. And like he was saying, where he did 100 strikes in a minute or two, he's not far off. He's got amazing hand speed, very lightning quick, fast. If you haven't seen his fight with Abram Sellers, that was near both the end of their amateur career. I think Abe turned pro the next fight. I think Logan took one more amateur fight and then turned pro. That's one of the best fights you'll ever see. It was a by UFC fight. It was amazing. So we'll just catch these last. We'll finish up this co-main event here from the UFC card tomorrow, and then we'll jump into the main event. And then we'll go ahead and roll off of here. So we got I think we left off with Jose Aldo taking on Marlon Vera. So, like I was saying previously before we had our great guest come on, Aldo He's at 34 now, but he's got a lot of MMA tread on the tires. He's been around for quite a while. He's lost his last 3 in a row, but they're to Alexander Volkanovski, Peter Yan, and Marlon Moraes. So 2 of those 3 are champions right now. Volkanovski's a featherweight champion and Yan is a bantamweight champion. So it's not like, it's a downhill, thing. He's losing to, the top guys in the world right now. So this will be his second fight. He fought in July against Peter Yan. Lost by TKO, but it was to the 5th round. So, I mean, he really pushed the pace there. Marlon Vera is coming off of that win over Sean O'Malley, where he had the first round. I don't know what happened to O'Malley, his ankle, knee. I don't remember what it was, but something. It looked like Vera caught a kick and it may have hit a nerve or something, and kind of put O'Malley out of it, and he was able to finish it with the TKO on the ground there. Lost a bout before that in 2015 to Yadon Song, so he was 1-1 in 2020. So, I mean, this is a huge, swinging. This is a lot of momentum that Vera can build himself off of, especially coming off beat Sean O'Malley and Jose Aldo in back-to-back bouts. That's a huge, huge momentum swinger. So, and this is going to be a good one. I'm really curious to see how this one goes. I really don't know which way to go, man. I'm going to go with Vera by decision, but I think it's going to be really close. I think this is definitely going to be a really good fight. Aldo's been around forever, but, I think he's still, got a lot left that, he can try to give out here to end his career. Definitely a Hall of Fame worthy career. There's no doubt about it. So we'll jump to the main event here before we roll out. Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson into the main event. It's been a little while since we've seen him in action. November of last year was the last time that he fought. He fought against Vicente Luque and won by decision. Before that, he had lost 3 of his last 4. So it was a rocky road there after he got he had the hot run up to the Tyron Woodley fight, had the draw, very uneventful bout. Then the rematch where he lost, very uneventful. And it's kind of just been a slow creep down in momentum from there. After the draw, like I said, he was, lost 3 and then won 2. He beat Jorge Masvidal in 2017, right before Jorge kind of hit his big run there. Then he lost to Darren Till, Anthony Pettis. Then he had the win over Vicente Luque. Obviously he's got that stand-up, that karate style. And then Jeff Neal, who is really, been on fire here lately. 2 stints on once on the Contender Series, and then he's had 5-0 since the Contender Series. So 6 bouts if you count his Contender Series bout in the UFC where he's won them all. Hasn't fought yet in 2020, so it'll be right at about a year because he fought December 14th of last year where he had knocked out Mike Perry. So it'll be right at about a full year since he's fought last. Before that, he had a couple more knockouts. He knocked out Nico Perry. Bilal Muhammad went to decision, which Muhammad's a very hard guy to put away, and then he had a couple knockouts before that. And I just think Jeff Neal is, his nickname is the Hands of Steel, and I think he's got it. I'm hoping that it doesn't end up like a Woodley bout where it looks like it could be firework type fight and not end up that way. But I think if Neal can get his hands on Thompson, I think he can put him out. So I think that's all it's going to take. I think Neal's going to catch Thompson at some point. Thompson may be winning on points up to that point, and then I think Neal will catch him maybe 3rd round or so, maybe 4th round, probably 3rd round. I'm thinking Thompson will be up on points and Neal will catch him and put him out. So as far as the UFC, that is that. Also, if as many of you know, I write for a couple different MMA websites, my MMA News and MMAsucker.com. At MMAsucker.com, I cover all the KSW news. It's definitely, as you've heard, every week I get KSW in there somewhere. One of Europe's hugest promotions. They're based out of Poland. They have an event, KSW 57, which is tomorrow. It's going to be at 12 Eastern, because in Poland it's like 6 o'clock when the show starts PM. We're about 6 hours behind. So you can catch it at about noon. It's great for people that are UFC fans because you can get your full day of MMA and you can get KSW, watch that about noon till it normally ends right when the UFC fights first start getting kicked off. So you can have a full day of fights there. But it's 8 bouts, 3 title fights. So KSW, well, they may not have 16 fights on the card. They make up for with, title fights, and just they put their best against each other. We'll just hit the main event here real quick, just because I'm a diehard KSW fan. I just can't go without talking about it. We got Phil DeFries and Miko Keita fighting in the main event. Phil DeFries had a stint in the UFC, very uneventful. And what happens to a lot of these guys is, they get out of the UFC and they go on to have, great runs in other organizations. And some just stay. A lot of them, they have good little runs and come back to the UFC. DeFries hasn't needed that. He went on a big run. He's won some M1 belts. Then he M1 bouts, had a one in, one out on Bellator where he won. And then he went to KSW and he's just kind of lit KSW on fire. He's went through some of the biggest names. He went through a row there where he fought nothing but former champions. He beat Thomas Narcoon at KSW 50. Narcoon is the light heavyweight champion, who many would say in KSW is probably their pound for pound number one going into that. And DeFries just handled him, got the submission, and he got the decision. And then it's been no looking back for there. I mean, DeFries is definitely the centerpiece of KSW right now, as far as just, his submission ability and his ability to just finish the fights. So definitely looking forward to that one. Anton Rakic defending his title. KSW just crowned their first bantamweight champion in Rakic, so he's going in for his first title defense, and vacant lightweight title since Mateusz Gamrot went to the UFC, so he vacated both his featherweight and lightweight title. He was their double champ, but Saldin Parnasse was the interim featherweight champion out of France, so he just bumped up to full champion. And what they're doing is Marian Zulkowski and Roman Szymanski are going to face off for the interim lightweight title. And both of these guys are, the veteran Polish fighters. They've actually fought before, like 4 or 5 years back. And the organization they fought for the vacant lightweight title. So they've done this before. This is no, first dance for these two in the same situation. They've been in the same situation against each other. They've both evolved a lot since then. So you really can't go off of anything from that fight. They both had a ton of fights since then. Zulkowski's last fight was a loss, but it was to Gamrot in a title fight. So, I mean, he went the distance with Gamrot. That's just a once in a lifetime talent. Him and Roberto Soldic, those are, probably two of the biggest names in the UFC. I mean, in KSW at their time when Gamrot left, Soldic is still there. I think Soldic is not too far behind. He'll be in the UFC, and Roberto Soldic is absolutely a name you have to watch coming out of KSW. He'll be the next superstar to come out of Poland, out of KSW, out of the the Czech area. He'll be the next big name for sure to come out of there. So it looks like we're gonna go ahead and call on this episode. Got you a little bit in over an hour in, not bad for trying to wing it here by myself. Hopefully, obviously we'll take next Friday off, being Christmas. We'll go from there. Make sure you follow the Are You Serious Sports Network page. Go over there so you can check out to vote for the AYS Fight Night End of the Year Awards. We got, Pro Fighter of the Year, Amateur Fighter of the Year. We got our MMA Organization of the Year, Fight Team of the Year, all that good stuff. Get over there, check it out. And we'll get leave those polls open until December 31st. And then our first show in 2021, I'm sure Daniel needs to be right back here with me, help get me under control here, because he's definitely, the motor to this engine here. I just kind of feed off of it. I'm a lot better at the conversation than the initiation. As an analyst, I can just watch what's happening in the cage and I can respond to it, tell you what's going on, feed off the other commentator. This I'm kind of flying solo, so we just kind of wung it and did the best we could. So hopefully it's enough to bring y'all back next time for episode 11. And until then, first rule AYS Fight Club: tell all your friends about AYS Fight Club. Catch y'all next time.